सदाशिवसमारम्भां शङ्कराचार्यमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्पराम्। श्रुतिस्फूं सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्ति। ॐ पार्थाय प्रतिबोधितां भगवता नारायणेन स्वयं व्यासेन ग्रथितां पुराणमुनिना मध्ये महाभारतम् अद्वैतामृतवर्षिणीं भगवतीम् अष्टादशाध्यायिनीम् अम्ब त्वामनुसन्दधामि भगवद्गीते भगवद्वेषिणीम्। यं ब्रह्मा वरुणेन्द्ररुद्रमरुतः स्तुन्वन्ति दिव्यैस्तवैः वेदैः साङ्गपदक्रमोपनिषदैः गायन्ति यं सामगाः ध्यानावस्थिततद्गतेन मनसा पश्यन्ति यं योगिनः यस्यान्तं न विदुः सुरासुरगणाः देवाय तस्मै। श्लोक नंबर 33। अथ षष्ठोऽध्यायः। अर्जुन उवाच योऽयं योगस्त्वया प्रोक्तः साम्येन मधुसूदन एतस्याहं न पश्यामि चञ्चलत्वा स्थितिं स्थिराम् चञ्चलं हि मनः कृष्ण प्रमाथि बलवदृढम् तस्याहं निग्रहं मन्ये वायोरिव सुदुष्करम्। श्रीभगवानुवाच असंशयं महाबाहो मनो दुर्निग्रहं चलम् अभ्यासेन तु कौन्तेय वैराग्येण च गृह्यते। So in this chapter called Dhyana Yoga, various topics related to Dhyanam meditation are talked about. Remotely controlling factors called Bahiranga Sadhana, immediate preparations to be made before meditation, Antaranga Sadhana. What is the nature of meditation? Dhyana Swarupam. And the fourth one was Dhyana Phalam. What is the result of Dhyana? And when Bhagavan presented all these four topics related to Dhyanam, Arjuna had a question, or he presented his difficulty in following Bhagavan's teaching on Dhyana. And the difficulty is a common difficulty which most of the people have, and that is distraction of the mind. I want to meditate so that I can get Jnana Nishtha, but meditation is possible when mind is available. Mind seems to be distracted every now and then. And therefore Arjuna finds the difficulty in following the teaching of Bhagavan. Bhagavan validated Arjuna's difficulty. As we saw in the last class, that validation of the difficulty is very important on the part of the teacher or on the part of any guide. When you validate the problem of the person, then person feels understood. Person will have receptivity to receive the teaching. If you brush aside the problem and he said, what nonsense problem you have, what useless problems you have, what childish problem you have, if you say like this, the person will not have receptivity to receive the guidance. Therefore, always a good guide, a good teacher will validate the difficulties faced by the questioner, by the disciple. And Bhagavan did that. He said, Asamshayam Mahabaho Manor Durnigraham Chalam. No doubt, Arjuna, mind is very difficult to master. And Chalam, why it is difficult to master over? Because it is flickering, it is unsteady, wavy. That is how the mind is. And therefore, yes, Arjuna, what you are saying is right. Mind is generally very difficult for people to master over. In fact, we generally don't use the word control. Which is Swamiji used to say the word control implies some pressure, some domination, etc. Instead of that, we say mastery. When a master is present, then in his presence, if there is a good master, then in his presence alone things work. That is called mastery. Control means there is a tug of war. You try to control this side, they try to control that side. So mastery over the mind is difficult, no doubt, but not impossible. So the teacher validates the difficulty of the student, but does not say that student's problem is impossible to solve. So neither it is impossible nor it is very easy. It is something to be worked upon. It requires some sincere efforts. And what are those efforts? Abhyasena tu kaunteya vairagyena cha grihyate. Grihyate manaha. The mind is grihyate, mind is mastered. How? By two things, Abhyasa and Vairagya. So Abhyasa means repeated practice of focusing the mind on some object of meditation. Kasyanchit chitta bhumau samana pratyaya vrittihi. So, if you are not able to meditate upon Nirguna Brahma or Satchidananda Atma because it looks very abstract, doesn't matter. You come down and you try to meditate upon some Devata, Ishta Devata. You like Krishna, meditate on Krishna. You like Rama, meditate on Rama. Or if you like to meditate upon cosmic form of the Lord, do that. With mind we have to interact like a mother interacting with the child. You cannot be so forceful. Therefore, there should be give and take. There should be persuasion, not enforcement. So, mind said, oh, this is Nirguna Brahman, Aham Brahmasmi, nothing happens in me. I am not able to capture. Mind wants to capture and Brahman is not capturable. And therefore, mind finds very difficult to meditate on Aham Brahmasmi. Understandable. Shastra says if that is not possible, come down. Discount. No? So Bhagavan gives discount. Okay, if that is not possible, come down to some Saguna form. Krishna, Rama, whatever form, Devi, whichever form you like, meditate upon that. And for that we have got various ways. Manasa Puja you can do, Manasa Japa you can do, or you can do this Vigraha Chintanam. You think of some big, first you stare at the Vigraha with your open eyes and go from this Nakha, from the nail up to the Kesha, Nakha Keshanta. So from nail you start and go up to the hair, again you come down, again you go up with open eyes. And then you try to same form which we have seen with your open eyes, try to visualize in your heart the form which you have seen outside. That is one way of meditation. Some people say Swamiji is very difficult. Okay, then you do some Manasa Japa. The Japa, Manasa Japa also is one type of meditation. So whichever works for you, everything is not working for everybody. There is no same medicine for everybody. We have different varieties. That's why we are very blessed that we have so many forms. People say that you have so many gods. We don't have so many gods. God is, Ishvara is only one. In fact, not only one. There is only Ishvara. Only he has got different forms. So one Ishvara, one reality is having different forms, and it is a blessing. Any form, some people like male form only, some people like female form only, some people like child form. Whichever form you like, to meditate. And keep following it. There should be regularity. In last class we saw that Dirghakala, Nairantarya, Satkala. For a long time we have to do this abhyasa. You cannot say, Swamiji, today I did it, so mind should be mastered in 5 minutes. No, it will take so much, Dirghakala. And regularity should be there. One of the issues many people have is regularity. They are very enthusiastic, but there is no follow-up. So they do it once, first week, they very much inspired, so do it 1 week, then next week not done. Next week again some problem, and after 2-3 weeks they do it. It doesn't work. Therefore, Nairantaryam, continuity, regularity, and Satkara, respect. Respect your sadhana. In the last class we saw that. And respect means what? Readiness to let go of other things. Otherwise, you will have so many avenues of distraction. So many tempting things. You want to meditate and somebody says, let us go for a movie. So that's a free movie. He is giving ticket. So meditation tomorrow also can be done. This fellow will not offer, with great difficulty he is offering. So you will go for that. Show value. And your value for anything is measured in terms of your readiness to sacrifice. See, you have value for a particular item. When you go to the shop, you have value for item. How it is expressed? By your readiness to pay the price. You cannot go to the shopkeeper and say, I like this item. The shopkeeper is very happy. Please buy, sir. No, but I can't give money. So, if you have value for something, you should be ready to pay the price. Value and not have readiness to pay the price is not correct. Yeah, you can say right now I don't have money. That is okay. I have value but don't have. That's okay. I have money but I am not ready to pay. Then your value, either it is not there or it is much less than the price it has. So in life, value should be expressed by our readiness to sacrifice. See, now you have some value to attend the class. Therefore, you have sacrificed a few things, talking to somebody, seeing some natural things, you have sacrificed all this. So, first of all, the Dirghakala, then Nairantarya and Satkara. And then you will have Dhrada Bhumihi. And in Yoga Sutra, it is said, Tatra sthitau yatnaha abhyasa. What is abhyasa? The attempt to focus on a given object of the meditation. And their commentator writes nicely. He said, what type of yatna means what? Utsaha. There should be enthusiasm, there is interest in meditation. And if you have interest in meditation, concentration will be relatively easy. You have seen in your life, whenever you have interest in something, your mind gets absorbed. If I am fond of reading the novels, then I don't know who all pass by. I am so absorbed. I forget to even eat because I am very much fond of reading. Somebody is very much fond of reading, watching movies. They don't know when time passes. So, utsahaha, the enthusiasm, interest is there, then this meditation will happen. So, repeated practice with enthusiasm on a given object of meditation is required for developing mastery over the mind. And here we had seen one more point in the last class. Swamiji, it is a contradiction. If I have the mastery over the mind, I can meditate. That was my problem. And now you are saying that for mastery over the mind, you meditate. I am saying that if I have mastery, then I can meditate. Since I do not have mastery over the mind, I cannot meditate. And now you are telling what? For developing the mastery, you meditate. How can I meditate when I don't have mastery over the mind? And you are saying that, so I want mastery over the mind. And you are prescribing what? For mastery, you meditate. So there is a catch-22. Pujya Swami used to give the example that if you get your son married, he will be all right. But when he gets all right, then only he can get married. So how will you handle this? If I have mastery over the mind, I can meditate. And you say you meditate, so your mind, you will have mastery over the mind. So how do you handle this catch-22? The answer is that Pujya Swamiji used to say, fake it and make it. Means, even though you do not have sufficient mastery, you still try to meditate. Do whatever a meditator does. What meditator does? He sits in one place. And now we have to add one more thing, which was not there earlier. Switch off your mobile. Earlier we were not telling this, because mobile was not there. So we say, sit in a place, switch off your mobile. Oh no, Swamiji, if I switch off, some important call comes. Okay, you put that mobile in some other room. Let it be switched on. Slow, maybe volume less, you can do it. And try to meditate. Whatever meditator does, what meditator does, he takes a steady posture, take a posture. Whatever posture, comfortable, take it. Then he does some pranayama. You also do it. So you do whatever a meditator does. Then slowly what will happen? You will try to meditate, mind goes away. Doesn't matter. Mind goes away and you try to bring it back. And slowly you will see that you are developing the mastery over the mind. Initially, as we saw in the last class, it will be for 1 minute or 30 seconds. Then slowly 30 seconds will become 40 seconds. Then 1 minute. And you do this practice of meditation for 10 minutes only. Don't try to do it for 1 hour. Do it for small period. Then increase. So that is abhyasaha. And slowly you will develop the mastery. And second thing required is vairagyam. Vairagya means dispassion from distracting things. Whatever is distracting you from meditation, have Vairagya. Vairagyam in general and specifically Vairagyam for those things which are distracting. And how do you get Vairagyam? In Shastra we say Vivekena Vairagyam. Viveka. Viveka means seeing things as they are. Discriminative understanding that how those things are having all limitations. My object of meditation is Purnaha, Ishvaraha, and the distracting factor is Apurnam Jagat or Apurnaha Padartha, this limited object. So I do this Viveka. What I want to achieve, what I want to focus is Purnaha. And all these distracting objects cannot give me what I am seeking in my life. So I see the limitation in this dependence upon the world to be happy. And dependence upon the world to be happy is called attachment, or in Sanskrit it's called raga. So raga means what? I depend upon these various objects, people and situation to be happy. And that dependence, how it is bringing sorrow in my life. Whenever you are dependent upon anything in the world, it is bound to bring some sorrow. Priyaha tvam rodayishyati. So, your own near and dearer one alone make you unhappy. You see, most of the time you cry, not because some unknown fellow said something to you. Generally, it doesn't happen. Swamiji, this fellow was passing by and he told me like this. Okay, he's like this. You just brush him aside. But your near and dear one, my son Swamiji told like this, Appa, when are you going? So, Swamiji, I felt so bad. My son is telling. Suppose you go to some ashram and that ashram manager asks you, you don't feel so bad. Feel little bad, but not so much. Because they also must have booking, room booking, so they are asking. We understand. But Swamiji, my son asked, my daughter asked. So, when we depend upon the world to feel secure, to feel happy, to feel fulfilled, satisfied, then disappointment, frustration is guaranteed. Swami Chinmayanand used to say, when you have appointment with the world, then you will have disappointment as well. Appointment and disappointment go together. Appointment means this, appointment with the world to be happy. So I see the limitation that how the world dependence has brought misery in my life. We are not saying that all of you renounce and come to the ashram. We are not saying ashram will be full. So we don't suggest that. For our sake also we don't suggest. You remain wherever you are. But know fully well that the world is not designed to give you fulfillment. The world is not designed to give you complete happiness. If you remain dependent upon the world, then this suffering, sorrow are bound to happen. So world dependence, we have to go to finally self-dependence. Self-dependence is independence. And that independence alone is called freedom, moksha. So world dependence to self-dependence. For what? Not for food, roti, etc. For that you can depend upon others. For food, etc., you can depend upon others. But for happiness, for sense of security, I do not depend upon anyone. My sense of security is centered on I. My sense of satisfaction is centered on I, me. That is called self-dependence. Self-dependence does not mean arrogance. I don't depend upon anyone. That is not that. I interact with everybody, but I interact with the world from the platform of strength, not weakness. Why we are suffering? One reason is that we are standing on the platform of weakness, helplessness, dependence, and then we are interacting. And therefore, what happens? Our ground is very shaky. So every now and then we follow. So you interact with the world. Like Pujya Swamiji was interacting with so many people, many more people than we are interacting with. But he was interacting from the platform of strength, not the strength of the platform of weakness. So from world dependence, finally we need to discover self-dependence, which is independence, which is freedom. But Shastra acknowledges the difficulty in this pursuit of world dependence to self-dependence. And therefore, in between, provisional step is given. In between, stepping stone is given. And what is that? God dependence, Ishvara dependence. Directly, you cannot go to self-dependence from world dependence, and therefore, Shastra provides one more step. Like sometimes know that bus, the step is very high, so they give small stool so that we can climb the bus. Similarly, from ground to the bus, we have to, just as we ground to the bus, we have to go, stool is there. Similarly, from world dependence to the self-dependence, in between is God dependence, Ishvara dependence. Very important step in the pursuit of moksha. Many people try to bypass this step and they suffer miserably. Never try to bypass Ishvara. So you bring in Ishvara in your life. Pujya Swami is one of the favorite topic is bringing Ishvara in one's life. Means keep seeing Ishvara's presence in everything that is happening. Ishvara is in the form of order, and order is manifesting in the form of various happenings in my life. And relate to Ishvara in whatever way you can relate. You can relate to Ishvara through a form, relate in that manner. You can relate to Ishvara in the form of some sound, Om, or some japa mantra, relate in that manner. Is a very, very important step. Relating to Ishvara, depending upon Ishvara, always thinking that my source of security is Ishvara. And finally, we will discover that Ishvara is myself, and therefore my source of security is myself. But in between, we bring Ishvara. And with the help of the dependence upon Ishvara, which is otherwise called bhakti, we develop vairagya. You can see this in your life. More and more you become focused to Ishvara, more and more thoughts you entertain about Ishvara, your dependence upon the objects, people, situation is reduced. You don't have to do anything for that. Therefore, one Mahatma said very nicely, he says, Bhakti Vairagya ka ek adbhut sadhan hai. So, it's very nicely he said. So, Vairagyam is born when Bhakti is there. Therefore, in Bhagavatam, very beautifully, Bhagavat Mahatmyam, very beautifully presented. Bhakti is presented as the mother. Vairagyam is presented as the son of Bhakti. So, Vairagyam and Jnanam are the two children of Bhakti. So, you bring this relating to Ishvara, Bhakti in your life, so Vairagyam will happen. Not only Bhakti will help you to develop Vairagyam, Bhakti will help you to develop concentration also. You will be able to focus on Ishvara. Because whom you love, concentration is easy. So when you love someone, then thinking about that person passionately with absorption is easy. Like Gopi used to be so much absorbed in the thoughts of Krishna that she will forget all other things. Similarly, here, when we learn to depend upon Ishvara by any means available, then Vairagya will be possible. And then Vairagya and Abhyasa are there, Grihyate. And this idea is given in Yoga Sutra also, Abhyasa Vairagya Abhyam Tan Nirodha. So, mind is mastered by Abhyasa, repeated practice, and Vairagyam by various means. And regarding Vairagyam also we have seen, not only Bhakti, Satsanga, the association with dispassionate people also brings dispassion. If you remain in the company of dispassionate people, dispassion comes. It gets rubbed off on your shoulders. So that is how it happens. So Vairagya and Abhyasa are attained, and that helps you to develop mastery. Now Bhagavan wants to highlight the importance of following these two sadhanas for getting mastery over the mind. He says, Asanyyatatmana yogaha दुष्प्राप इति मे मतिः पश्यात्मना तु यतता शक्यो वाप्तुमुपायतः. So Bhagavan says yoga. Yoga has got two meanings. One is nididhyasanam, contemplation, and another one is the vision of Atma, which is attainable through nididhyasana, with the help of nididhyasana. So that yoga, dushprapaha, is difficult to attain. By whom? Asanyatatmana, by the person whose mind is not mastered. So by a person whose mind is not mastered, this yoga, this meditation is very, very difficult to accomplish. Iti me matihi, this is my view, which is a fact. So if sanyama, if the mastery is not there, meditation is not possible. And vashyatmana, by the person who has got the mastery over the mind, too, however, shakyaha avaptum, it is possible to attain this nididhyasanam. It is possible to successfully practice this nididhyasana. For that, what is required? Vashyatmana, having the mastery over the mind. And mastery over the mind, how will it be possible? Upayataha yatata. Yatata means a person who is making effort. How? Upayataha. Upayataha means with the help of the means prescribed. Abhyasa and Vairagyam, if a person is practicing, then he will have mastery over the mind. And with that mastery over the mind, he will be able to practice meditation. And also, upayataha yatata conveys the idea that when you have relative mastery over the mind and you follow the Bahiranga Upaya and Antaranga Upaya, this remotely controlling factor and immediately contributing factors, then yogaha avaptum shakyaha. It is possible to have this meditation. So, first of all, you have to ask this question. Am I really interested in meditation? First you have to ask. And you have to ask this question, why am I interested? You need to have the clarity of purpose. Without clarity of purpose, if you try to do something out of seeing somebody or out of just hearing some story about some Mahatma, then it will not be sustainable. To sustain your activity, you need to have this sense of purpose, the clarity of purpose. So first you ask this, why do I want to meditate? Am I interested in meditation? Why am I interested in meditation? So that clarity you should have. And second thing is, do you think it is possible? Ask this question. If you feel no, Swamiji, I don't think, like Arjuna says, I don't think it is possible to control the mind. Then he will not. Therefore, Bhagavan said very nicely, he balanced the whole thing by saying it is difficult but not impossible. Many times people say, Swamiji, what you are saying is very, very difficult. I said, yes, difficult. But I said, many difficult things you have done in your life. You have brought up children, you have got the job, you somehow handled your boss. So many difficult things you have done. One more. Just because something is difficult, we did not give up. Many things are difficult, still we did it. Why? Because we saw the value of it. When you see the value in doing something, difficulty will not what is called distract you. Difficulty will not make you withdraw from that. Since you are committed, however difficult it is, do it. People have got some vow they have taken that I will, if this happens, I will go to Tirupati walking. Difficult. But since they have value for fulfilling, they do it. How many stops required, they will take it. So in life, when we see the value of something, then difficulty will not deter you, will not put you off from the track. So Bhagavan says that have this upaya by sense of importance. Have this sense of importance. Then shakyaha. So you should have, one needs to have the sense of clarity, one needs to have the sense of possibility, and the third thing we have already seen, this point I keep repeating. Third is readiness to sacrifice. Give some what is called price, express some value for your sadhana by sacrificing whatever needs to be sacrificed. You need not sacrifice your house and wife and children and husband and all this. That is not required. What you need to sacrifice is your raga for certain distracting factors. And that in that manner, upayataha yatata, by the person who is following these sadhanas appropriately, yogaha avaptum shakyaha, it is possible. So in these two verses, Bhagavan talked about the means to master the mind. And here, out of the four obstacles, if you remember, we had discussed, one is called Laya, second is called Vikshepa, Kashaya, and Rasaswada. Out of these four, the Vikshepa obstacle was discussed, and Laya, Kashaya, Rasaswada, we have seen. Laya means feeling sleepiness. For that, what is to be done? Take enough sleep before sitting for meditation. Otherwise, there is a sleep debt. And so sleep debt is there, therefore you will feel sleepy. Take enough rest. And have some light food before sitting for meditation. So Laya you can address. Vikshepa is addressed here by Abhyasa Vairagya. Kashaya is the mind getting stuck. So some Ragadvesha, hidden Ragadvesha, unconscious. That is called Kashaya. So you allow the mind to surface the hidden Ragadveshas. So hidden Ragadveshas are allowed to be surfaced and deal with them as you deal with these Vikshepa. And Rasaswada, as I told you, it is a obstacle happens much later. So where you have this feeling of enjoyment, I am enjoying this meditation. How nice it is, how nice it is. That is Rasaswada. And that how do you handle? By reminding yourself that meditation is not for experiential happiness, meditation is for owning up limitless happiness. And thus, all four obstacles in meditations are dealt with in Shastra. So Bhagavan gave the solution to the problem to this meditation. But Arjuna is still feeling diffident. He thinks that Bhagavan says that you do this, and your mind will be mastered, and then you will get Jnana Nishtha and you will get moksha. But somehow I feel by chance I am not able to do all this Abhyasa Vairagya completely, and my mind is not mastered completely. I will not be able to do complete Nididhyasanam, so I will not get Jnana Nishtha, I will not get moksha. Then what will happen to me? So that question remains. Like somebody is in double mind, whether to remain in Grihastha or Sannyasa. So sometimes when he sees Vivekananda's picture or Ramatirtha's picture or Puja Swami's picture, wow, I also will become sannyasi. But then again he thinks that by chance, I become sannyasi, but I don't get place in any ashram. And I am not able to give up this attachment to my wife, my children, my husband. Then what will happen to me? I left this also. I left this household thing also. वो भी गया, and that also I could not get. In Hindi nicely said, दुविधा में दोनों गया, Maya मिली न राम. Means when person is confused state, Maya means wealth. So wealth means worldly things. So worldly things also, worldly happiness also he did not have. Like these grahasthas have though, when this son is there, grandson is there, and grandson says, Tata, Tata, that happiness is there. That happiness is not there. The sannyasi could not get. And moksha sukham, that also did not get. So Arjuna thinks that if a person is following this pursuit of meditation, and by chance he does not succeed, what will happen to him? Arjuna thinks that the lot of that person means the consequence for that person will be harmful. He will be ubhaya brashta, means he is fallen from both, from this material pursuit and spiritual pursuit. Therefore his condition will be worse than even the materialistic person. That's what he thinks, and he asks. Arjuna uvacha ayati shraddhayopeetah yogaachalitamānasah अप्राप्य योग संसिद्धिं काम गतिं कृष्ण गच्छति. Arjuna Uvacha. So here Bhagavan Bhashyakara says Arjuna, who is having the doubt regarding the success of the pursuit of meditation. So he thinks that if there is a person who started his pursuit, spiritual pursuit, he was doing some meditation, but he could not make sufficient effort, and because of that he did not get Jnana Nishtha, therefore he did not get moksha. So he does not have the basis of Jnana Nishtha born of the Nididhyasanam, and he does not have basis of the Punya born of the karma, because karma he all renounced to do this meditation. Therefore Punya currency is not there, therefore he cannot get heaven. And the Jnana Nishtha currency also is not there, therefore he cannot get moksha. Ubhaya Brashta means he is fallen from both. So that's what he says. Ayatihi is presenting a case study. Suppose there is a person, in fact he thinks about himself, but he is telling like this. So sometimes you say, Swami, somebody has this problem. Actually the person has the problem. But he cannot say that, therefore he says, Swami, somebody has this problem, what is to be done? Then sometimes I ask, is it your problem? Sometimes I ask, sometimes I don't ask. I understand it is his problem or her problem. So Arjuna is telling, imagine there is a person, Ayatihi. who has made little effort. Ayati means a person of insufficient effort. Alparthenanj. So he is yati, he has made effort for meditation, but not enough effort. Means he could not reach the destination of meditation, which is Jnana Nishtha, leading to moksha. But Shraddhaya Upetaha, he is endowed with Shraddha. Yes, Shraddha in Shastra, which talks about Brahman, which talks about Brahma Jnanena Moksha, Moksha by Brahma Jnanam, and for Brahma Jnanam, Shravana, Manana, Nididhyasanam required. All this Shraddha is he has. So Shraddha he has got, but efforts are not enough. And such a person, Yoga Chalita Manasa. He took retirement, he went to the forest perhaps, or somewhere senior citizen home, and he started making efforts. But because of some distraction, his mind was Manasa, means mind Chalita, distracted from yoga, Nididhyasa. Some health issue or psychological issue, so many issues are possible. And so his mind was distracted from meditation. Then such a person, aprapya yoga samsiddhim, having not attained, aprapya means having not attained yoga samsiddhim, the success in meditation means what? Dana nishtha, moksha, abidance in knowledge, assimilation of this knowledge, which is the means for moksha, having not attained that, kam gatim gacchati, what destination he reaches, what end he reaches, what type of lot he will have. And Arjuna thinks that this person will not have a very good destination. He will not have very good end. Why? Because he is Ubhaya Brashta. He gave up all karma. He perhaps took sannyasa and remained engaged in meditation. But because of some reason, he was distracted. And in Shastra, we tell the story of this Bharata. There was a great king called Bharata. He ruled over the kingdom, and when he attained certain age, then he took Vanaprastha life. He went to the forest. Very rich king. So wife, children, all the entire kingdom, all comforts he gave up and went to the forest. And in the forest he started leading the life of a Vanaprastha, where tapas is to be done, japa, tapa, etc. to be done. He was doing it. But one day what happened? He saw that one deer, female deer, was about to deliver a baby deer. And that time some tiger came and they killed this mother deer. And this baby deer was saved by this king. That is correct. He did a right thing. But the baby deer he brought to the ashram, his place, cottage, whatever. And the baby deer became very dear. And then whole day the mind will go there. And even afterwards, he is doing Sandhya Vandanam, deer comes, then he drops Sandhya Vandanam in between, takes a break, and then plays with the deer, and then start, again continues. He is doing japa, and then this deer comes, and then he is distracted, he gets up. That's how it happens. Like a grandchild comes, then what is the Tata? Tata will stop his meditation. So similarly, this happens to this Bharata. And so deer became so dear that his mind was remaining in that. Even at the time of death, he was looking at the deer. What will happen to this deer after I go? Actually, deer was grown up, so he could have left it to the forest, a deeper forest or wherever other deers are there, but he did not do it. He kept it, fat deer. So, and then at the end also he was looking at the deer, deer was looking at the king. The deer also was attached to this king. Deer getting attached to the king is not deer's fault. It is very natural for them. Whoever gives you say, food, etc., they will be there. But this Raja should have, the king should have some viveka. That I gave up my wife, children, and all that. Now I am got stuck in this. He did not think. And since the last thought was of deer, therefore in the next Janma he became deer. So he could not get this Jnana Nishtha Moksha. Why? Because of this distraction. And I tell you one thing, everybody has got some one deer. You have to find out what is your deer. So some deer will be there. Whatever is distracting you from the pursuit of moksha is your deer. And that can lead you to different gati. So yoga chalita manasa is like this. So Arjuna says that what will happen to that person? And in the next sloka I will say that Bhagavan, I think that person will be lost because he has neither done karma nor he has succeeded in the spiritual pursuit. So material pursuit he gave up, spiritual pursuit he did not succeed. Like a regular job he gave up, and startup did not start. So whatever they want to have startup, no? So startup did not start, and therefore see this fellow is borrowing money, or sometimes wife is working, so he is and somehow managing. So that type of situation will happen. See, in regular job he was getting salary stopped, and from the business income did not come. So how miserable these fellows! I have seen some people like this. So similarly, Arjuna thinks that this person will have very miserable lot, miserable destination, miserable end. And so, what is to be done? Should we start this spiritual pursuit, meditation, or we should continue only in this? That is his Arjuna's thinking. More about this we'll see in the next class. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamada